Alright, I think it's officially early enough to call it, the morning time, instead of late night. So, Ohayo gozaimasu. Um, Fudge. I'm probably gonna get made fun of for this. Cause I don't remember how to introduce myself officially in Japanese. Um, Hajimemashite. Fuck, what is it? Watashi wa namae Torei desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Um, Hi, my name is Trey. It's a pleasure to meet you. Um, Hopefully you're not starting off with this episode. In the top right, there will be a little thingamajigger with the playlist of all of these episodes that they're all going to be. You can watch from episode 1. You can watch from the fucking channel intro if you want to see what this is about. And if it doesn't interest you, that's okay. But if it does, all the episodes are going to be in there. This is episode 5. I know in episode 4, towards the end, I started to delve into my work life, which I was planning on covering in the next episode, episode 6, getting into my work life, but I kind of went into it. So episode 5 is going to be kind of a two-parter, because I really want to go over my social issues and some more of my mental health issues in college, and then I'm going to shift over to my career, which I had already pretty much laid the foundation for in the end of last episode, accidentally. But again, these are raw, unfiltered, unedited, unprofessional. So fuck it, we're working from there. So I'd always been a very shy, not very outgoing person, and throughout my whole life, since I've been obese, which I had also forgot to mention in the end of the last episode. During that summer break, I had a doctor's appointment in December, early December, in which I weighed in at just about 290 pounds, at 5'10", at 18 years old. And it showed bad. I hated the way I looked. I hated myself. I hated what I was, how much of a failure I was in college, how much of a failure I was with my social life. I didn't have any friends in college. All my friends from high school went to their own colleges or were doing their own things, and I don't blame them for not checking up on me. They're living their own life, and I understand that now, and I'm going to explain that. I'm going to explain why I realize that now in a later video. But everybody's playing their own game, and they're the main characters. As much as we like to think it, the universe doesn't revolve around us. Everybody has their own things. Everybody is living their own lives. But once again, I'll explain that in a future video. But for now, I just want to talk about college. And my mental health. I had really, really bad social anxiety through college. I didn't talk to anybody in my classes. I made 2 friends because we were in a group project for lab. Shout out to you two. You know who you are. You guys are pretty fucking cool. It kind of sucks that we don't talk that much. Because again, y'all are doing your own thing. I'm doing my own thing. And I'm happy for you guys. So, yeah, I had really, really bad social anxiety. I didn't speak to anybody because I would overthink in my head about the possible outcome of the stupidest shit. Like, just for an example, and this isn't an actual example, at least I don't think, or at least I don't remember. Like, let's just say, hypothetically, I was going to ask someone for a pen. I would think about the possible outcome for that conversation. Now, the logical outcome for that conversation, which I now realize, would be, oh, yeah, sure, Or, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have an extra one. I only have one. But I would create these wild scenarios in my head and would get super anxious and didn't talk to anybody because of it. And trust me, my physical appearance did not help at all. I hated the way I looked, so I saw no reason why everyone around me wouldn't also hate the way I look and wouldn't also hate me or wouldn't also feel the same way I felt in myself. And I hated myself. So I assumed everyone hated me and the way I looked. And that's just my fucked up brain at the time. And that's just the way I thought. Um, which, of course, now I realize is completely irrational and false. Um, but I'll get to that later. I know I'm kind of touching on a bunch of shit and then saying, oh, I'll get to that later. But I actually will. I plan on staying up. Don't plan on going to sleep anytime soon. Until I fucking get to right now me. You might see the sun come up soon. So that'll be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty funny. But yeah. So, let's see. I had real bad social anxiety. Told you about that. I didn't have any friends other than those two, which, again, we weren't real close. We just kind of, about the equivalent of a high school friend. Complaining about school. Complaining about teachers. The usual bullshit. But we were cool. We were cool. But yeah, other than that, I didn't have any friends. It was just me alone with my thoughts in my dorm room that I happened to be sharing with 3 other people who, quite frankly, were never there. Which I guess was a good and bad thing. More bad than good, because it left me truly alone with my thoughts and made me feel even more alone and worthless, in my opinion, than if they were there. So that's pretty much the last bit about college that I wanted to talk about. I'm officially done talking about college. Got all that out the way. So now, picking up where I left off at the very end of episode 4, my work life, I had transferred to another store, started being a porter, and I loved it. Came into work every day, did what I had to do, left work every day with zero stress, and it was very liberating to feel that way. Very liberating. So after a couple months of working there, I had started working at the first store, I think the first week of January, maybe. And then, let's see. I'm trying to think. I apologize. And then in July, so after 5 months, I got offered by my aunt to come move into the apartment that she has above her carport, which is the apartment that I'm in right now. Moving out on my own to my own place. If you thought moving into college was scary, moving into a dorm room, trust me, this was way scarier. Now, thankfully, I have my Aunt Knuckle and my 2 cousins literally 20 feet away from me at all times. So it's not like I'm moving into my own house and it's big and scary and I'm the only person there. But the idea of being 18 and moving out on my own was weird. It's weird. Yeah, so I moved out on my own. I pay rent every month. My phone bill and insurance are all under my mom's name, so I pay her every month for it. I've got my own car. It's paid off. I've got, I pay all my bills. I do what I have to do. So I moved out. I'm still a porter, making consistent money, good money for someone at 18 years old. Um, and then 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I had got I had showed some interest in being, working with parts. So at a collision center, that's where you bring your car to get fixed if you're in a wreck. And, you know, people order parts for the cars. That way the technicians can fix them and what have you. So I showed interest in that. And about 2 months ago, after having kind of got my toes wet, just, moving parts, labeling them for the parts coordinator at the time, my boss had come up to me and asked me, hey, I see you've, taken a liking to parts. Have you thought about doing it? And so at that point in time, I was kind of at a crossroads in terms of what I wanted for my career. So being the porter was essentially the bottom of the totem pole. Lowest of the low. That is the entry level position. That is a position that's normally filled by people that just honestly just need a job. So I mean, it's not like a heavily respected or, quite frankly, a very important position. It really wasn't. And generally you didn't get very far unless you showed initiative and interest in the business, which I had. So he approached me and I said yes. And I said yes because at that point in time, I mean, obviously, it's going to come with a pay raise. Sure, why not? It's a chance to learn more. But I was still at the crossroads between whether I wanted to go one way and try and become an estimator, which is the person who tells you and the insurance company how much your car is going to cost, or to be a technician. Because I'm interested in both of them, quite frankly. I like the idea of working on cars, and I also like the idea of being an estimator. And, I kind of thought to myself beforehand, because my manager had brought it up, like, hey, I know you got a good head on your shoulders. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do here? Technician or something else? And I didn't know because I liked them both equally. So when he had offered me the parts position, I took it because it was a direct path to becoming an estimator, which is what my mom does. I've got family in the business. My dad's been a technician for damn near 30 years. My mom's been an estimator for damn near 20 years. My aunt and uncle were both insurance adjusters. So I know people, I understand how the business works. I've been around collision centers for all of my life, pretty much. So I decided to take the parts position. And that's what I'm doing now. I am currently the parts coordinator at a collision center. And I love it. And it is very stressful. Very stressful. Making sure parts come in on time, making sure they're right, keeping track of about 100 parts at a time. It's very stressful. But I like it. Because I like the field that I'm working in, and I like where it can go. So anyway, enough about the lecture about what I do for a living. But in terms of my career, that's where I'm at. And where I see myself in a year, I see myself being an estimator in a year. That's my goal for the next year. Aside, in terms of my career, I have personal goals that I've set for the next year. But I'll get to that in another video. I know I keep saying that. But yeah. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I covered what I wanted to cover. The little tidbit about college that I had forgotten about. And basically the end of the whole career segment. So you don't have to hear me talking about cars anymore. Yay. So let's see. This is episode 5. So episode 6 is going to be fairly recent mental issues. yeah, so that's gonna be next episode. But that's gonna wrap it up for episode 5. Um, so yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip. I know it's still morning, but fuck. See, I'm trying to think of what does it say bye in Japanese. Sayonara is that's like I'm never gonna see you again. Like this is the end of the series or what have you. So I don't want to say that. Fudge. I can't remember. Eh, whatever. I don't speak Japanese. So, anyways, so that's the end of episode 5, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully by that time, maybe the sun will come out because it is 5:14 a.m. All right, take it easy, guys.